And now it is my great pleasure to introduce Pape Gaye, the President and CEO of IntraHealth.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what to do with that generous introduction, but thank you so much. And I want to pick up a little bit on the theme of community, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for keeping it up with this community. This is community building. I think it was David last year who had a whole session of community building. So this is about a movement. This is about people around the globe who are committed to making a difference and who is not afraid to look for the right solutions. So thank you for being with us, and thank you because this is a journey and it's going to take us a while, but I think we have to start, and I think SwitchPoint is a great place to start. You know, since there's been so much focus on the health worker, and after all, that's what we focus on, just a quick reminder that the 7 billion of us on this earth, 1/7 of us will actually never see a health worker during their entire life. When I heard that statistics, that really made me think, God, we need to mobilize around this. So I think what we're doing here is also very smart, is quickly recognizing that this is going to go beyond the field of global health. And global health will be enriched if we learn to engage with other sectors who oftentimes have had solutions that we have not thought about. So if our world today is talking about innovation, is talking about adaptation, and how do we better implement, partnership is the thing that cuts across. Because no one individual and no one sector is going to be successful in doing this. But we need to push ourselves, and we need to do better. It's not just a question of paying lip service to partnership. It's really reinventing partnership and reinventing courageous partnership. And that's what SwitchPoint is about, is for us to create the space for all of this energy to be channeled through someplace. And we are delighted today to be able to report on some of the initiatives that started last year. So we will be doing that. We will be talking about the fruit of these partnerships. I learned a couple of weeks ago, I was at a meeting in Washington, and somebody was actually beginning to make a difference and encouraging us to actually think about the active verb on all of these things we're talking about. Innovation. I think our focus needs to be on the verb, innovate. How do we innovate? Because if we just stay at that big term, innovation, it will remain vague and it will remain controversial. Is it about technology? Is it about science? But if we focus on the active is how do we innovate, then I think we start to see some results. Adaptation is the same thing. It's how do we, on an individual level, how do we adapt? So these are the things that we hope that you will continue to take on from SwitchPoint. So thank you for keeping this movement, and do spread the word, because it's not a lack of solutions. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's all in the how. And so this is why we are saying it's going to take time, it's going to take commitment, and it's going to take us to try to do our part. Today, I have the pleasure of doing two things. First of all, introducing a few individuals who have taken the SwitchPoint spirit and who have found their SwitchPoint last year, and we're working on them. The second thing I'm gonna do too is to introduce you to a new tool that we have developed, which is the SwitchPoint Reader, which we hope to launch here today, which is basically a digital magazine which is designed for the SwitchPoint community. And as you will see, I think it's very powerful, and we will hear a little bit more about it. My experience, the one I want to share very quickly, which was a result of SwitchPoint, and our dedication to working and partnering is this last year, IntraHealth was selected. IntraHealth's commitment was featured in the Clinton Global Initiative. And simply, I think it was because we are trying to apply everything we've heard from Eric, from Josh, and all of that this morning, is needs to happen where it matters the most in the field. So we had made a commitment to bring a group of actors in the technology field, including Intel, including Medic Mobile, that represents Josh, and Safaricom in Kenya as a telecom company, in a joint venture to see how we can scale up e-learning and e-learning platform. In a way, what we are doing is beginning to develop this culture of digital, the digital culture, and to better serve healthcare workers. So that is one example that came out of the spirit, and there are many more that I will invite Josh, whom we've seen quite a bit, to come and talk about another example of partnership. Josh?
Thank you, Pape. I'm very excited to see what happens in Kenya. And just wanted to mention really briefly a different type of partnership and some lessons learned as well, I think for this room, hopefully relevant right now. 2 years ago, working with Heather and the IntraHealth Open team, we were basically discussing how we might work together on giving the broader American community ways to take action for global health. And we had just founded a phone recycling campaign called Hope Phones. And the pitch is that you can give your old cell phone a new life on the front line of global health. That we take your phone for free, we recycle it, and the value of the phone we use to buy local hardware and local cell phone minutes where they're needed and where they're needed most. And it's really meant to support health workers. So it was such a beautiful match. That was two and a half years ago that we started working together. And we kept in touch about the campaign. And then a night in January, we had 24 hours to pull together some action items for the annual letter from Bill Gates, who was being put out to the world, and he wanted one of 3 action items to be donating your old cell phone through IntraHealth and Hope Phones. And because we had stayed in touch, we were able to pull it off. So really the short message is partner today, stay in touch, and share often. And I'm really excited. My other role here is to bring Mary and Aaron on stage to talk about an exciting new partnership.
Thanks, Josh. Hi, my name is Mary Slossom. I'm the Global Health and Development Curator at Good. And for the uninitiated, Good is a magazine and an online platform for people who give a damn. And that can mean social innovators, change makers, students, people in tech, people in education, people in M-Health. It's really diverse. And I wanted to tell you guys about a new project that we've launched this year in which Good is going global. And we're more explicitly talking about global health and development topics through a framework that we're calling the Global Citizenship Project, because we like to think of ourselves as a young, cool, hip magazine. So we're using global citizenship as a way to emphasize that we're all in this together. And I'm really pleased to announce here that we're partnering with the SwitchPoint reader to bring the content of our Global Citizenship Project to SwitchPoint. So when you use the reader, thanks, Pop. So when you use the reader, you'll be able to see Good's content coming right there to your iPad, iPhone, desktop, wherever you choose to use it.
Thank you, Mary. My name is Aaron Sherinian, and I'm with the United Nations Foundation. And in the spirit of SwitchPoint that Pop mentioned, and that spirit of partnership and acting now that Josh mentioned, I am pleased also to add the voice of the United Nations Foundation together with that of Good, to announce that we will also be collaborating with part of the SwitchPoint reader. The reality is, when we wake up in the morning, we don't think, I wish I could have some information to do my job better as a public health professional, or as a multilateralist, or as someone who is in the mobile sector, or as someone who just likes tech. You do it because you're a human being. And the SwitchPoint reader takes the best of what all of our communities are doing, and the United Nations Foundation is proud to be part of this exercise so that what we're doing is learning and collaborating, and as Temi told us this morning, delivering in a package and not just a silo. So we're pleased to be part of this. That spirit of partnership and the spirit of Saxapaha and what happened at SwitchPoint last year is something that I've been asked to tell a quick story about. What happened in this ballroom and this collaboration and this conversation was something that did not stay here. And as part of the United Nations Foundation's partnership with the 92nd Street Y, Mashable, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and UNDP, we were so pleased to see so many of the ideas that were brought out from this ballroom be part of the biggest conversations that took place last year. So some of the folks that we talked to allowed us to bring the conversation from SwitchPoint to the Rio Plus 20 Summit. They allowed us to bring those conversations to the UN General Assembly, and they allowed us through the Social Good Summit Partnership to ensure that at the margins of South by Southwest and gatherings around the world, people were talking about issues that they may not have been talking about before. So that you had the combination of reproductive health, frontline workers, how we talk about global development in a new way. And those conversations were brought about by this spirit of partnership of new players. One of the most important, I would call it refreshingly, aggressively creative parts of that was how we were able to meet with, talk with, and learn from people like Apple Juice Kid and Pierce Freelon, who you're going to hear a little bit about in a moment. But your ideas, your initiatives, and your spirit of partnership are pushing those conversations at a very global level, at a very rapid pace, and with very real impact, so that the last things that the decision makers are hearing are the first things that are on your agenda. So we thank you for that partnership.
So I've also been asked to share a little story about some of the switch points that happened here last year, and I'm really excited about this one. I'm a big music fan. And at last year's SwitchPoint, the Good co-founder, Casey Kaplow, was here and chatted with the beat-making labs. And through an unlikely series of events, we at Good relaunched our website as a new social platform for social good. So the way that LinkedIn is for your professional social self and Facebook is for interacting with your friends, the Good online platform that we relaunched last year is where you come together to engage in civic engagement and social enterprise. And on the first day that we launched, we featured beat-making labs. And within 6 hours of that post going live on our website, they got a call from PBS asking to syndicate their work through a documentary series. So that's one very real switch point that happened here last year. And it's my pleasure and my honor to welcome Stephen and Pierce from Beatmaking Labs.
Hey, everybody. Okay, cool. So are you guys, we're just going to hang out up here for a bit? Okay, cool. I'm not trying to kick you off stage or anything. Okay, cool. So my name is Pierce Freelon. This is Apple Juice Kid. We teach in the music department at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Oh, there's some Tar Heels in the building. That's great. And yeah, that's our sign. We teach an interesting new kind of class, and it's a new curriculum for the music department. If you look at music departments around the country, around the world even, and the type of offerings that they make, you'll see classes on jazz and classical music and salsa, a bunch of different types of genres, but there aren't many electronic music production classes or curriculums. So Apple Juice and the chair of our department, Dr. Mark Katz, founded the Beatmaking Lab in 2011, and I joined them to co-teach the class in 2012. Now, April of last year, we were here on the stage, very fresh in our collaboration as musicians and professors, and very green up here, nervous on stage, presenting about something we were about to go do, which is we crowdsourced money to build a beat-making lab at a community center in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So the idea for that came out of, we found in Beat-Making Lab a really inspiring curriculum and something that had potential application in a community setting beyond just the university space. So, you know, you can get your 3 credit hours, and it's great that we're offering this kind of new innovative curriculum, but when you look at the music that young people in North Carolina and around the world are listening to, they're listening to hip hop, they're listening to dance music and reggae, R&B, but the tools to create this music are not widely taught. So we raised the money to build our first beat-making lab in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We were here at SwitchPoint to talk about it, and one of the first people we met is this glowing ball of positive energy, Aaron, and he was like, "You guys are rad," and we were like, "Oh, you're awesome." We had a group hug of sorts, and he was like, "I got to get you guys to Rio," and we were like, "Oh my goodness," we were very excited. So Rio plus social, very much like the energy in this room here. You have innovators, you have entrepreneurs, you have artists, you have technologists, and people that just want to make the world a better place. And we were a part of that dialogue. As a matter of fact, we were speaking sandwiched between Ted Turner and Richard Branson. So we were, it was really amazing. You can switch to the next slide. You know, the United Nations Foundation really took us under their wing. They nurtured us, they believed in us, and so that was, like you said, a very real switch point. And when we got there, we made even more switch points, more connections with more innovators and collaborators. So after Rio Plus Social, we can click, we connected with, oh, sorry, that's Rio Plus Social. So the next one of our next collaborators was the Social Good Summit. And this was something you mentioned, 90-second Why, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Mashable, they were all involved, and we met them all at Rio Plus Social. And one of the most unique and powerful beat-making experiences of my life took place during our presentation at the Social Good Summit. And I actually want to show you a little clip of that experience now and talk about how it relates to what we're doing here. Can we pump up the volume a bit? The Social Good Summit. The Social Good Summit. Thank you, Ms. Jane Goodall. Okay, thank you. So, as you can see in the video clip, we had the honor and privilege of speaking before Ms. Jane Goodall, one of the great activists of our time. And we did something, somewhat of a model that we're attempting to replicate elsewhere. It's called artivism. When you take art and you mix that with activism and you create something new, you create something unique. And what we did there was very impromptu. She was just the speaker before us. So as she was exiting the stage, I was like, "You want to make a beat real quick?" And so I escorted Miss Goodall back to the microphone. She made some chimpanzee noises while Apple Juice was tapping out an 808 on the MPC, and we created with her. So that in itself was a switch point, but what happened afterwards was even more spectacular. We were backstage holding hands in a very kumbaya moment with Miss Goodall afterwards, and she said, that was an amazing experience. I wanna work with you guys so we can begin to create music and start getting young people involved with what she's trying to do with the Jane Goodall Foundation and use music and hip-hop and electronic production to help tell a story that can only be told through an experience like that, through an interactive, kind of engaging musical experience. So that long-winded thing was my first story about how SwitchPoint really radically changed our lives, and there's 2 more SwitchPoint stories that I'm gonna have Apple Juice continue.
Hello, my name is Stephen, also Apple Juice Kid. I want to add one more thing to the Jane Goodall. Pierce did not say, Jane Goodall, would you please make a beat? Her assistant said, if you say to Jane Goodall, I would like to use the sounds of the forest, then she will definitely say yes. So that was the exact, and so we said, Jane Goodall, can we use the sounds of the forest with us? And she was like, sure. So I think she was surprised that it turned into like this beat. So yeah, I want to talk about another switch point here. I feel like we're the poster children of this conference. And backstage, more specifically about our relationship with Good, I saw Casey sitting down right before he was about to speak, and I'm DJing the conference. And I just went and sat next to him, and I said, I heard a lot about your site, Good. Can you tell me more about it? And he talked about he's the co-founder, and I got his card, and I thought, one day I'll possibly email him. So fast forward a few months later, we get back from the Congo. We are just launching our first 3-minute video that we're hoping someone like CNN will see, or we don't know what the possibility is. One of the 10 people I emailed was Casey, and I didn't think he'd remember me, but he said, this is perfect timing. We just launched our social site, and we need content today. And luckily, I had a good piece of content of a 3-minute video from East Africa showing the youth making beats with us. And the video did very well on the site that day, and like Mary said, PBS called us 6 hours later. And we were very happy about that. So with PBS, a direct result of SwitchPoint, we now have the funding to do beatmaking labs around the world. We just got back from Senegal doing an all-female beatmaking lab with the assistance of IntraHealth. And in about 2 weeks, we're about to go to Fiji and do one there. So.
Okay, cool. So, and I want to talk about the Senegal Beatmaking Lab specifically as it relates to our hosts this evening or afternoon, morning. Whoa. See, we just got back from Senegal like less than a week ago, so my clock's still a little bit off. Please forgive me. But yes, so the Senegal Beatmaking Lab was something we branded. Can you open up your jacket? It was Beats for Health. Speak Up Africa was one of the collaborators. And on the back, Beats for Health. And so what does that mean, Beats for Health? It was an artivism project, again, taking art and the activism that groups like IntraHealth are doing and groups like Speak Up Africa are doing to help raise the platform and the profile of some of the health-related issues of West Africa through the voices of the youth there. So we worked with a group of 7 young women. You can switch to the next picture. These are some of the young women we worked with. Pop, you may recognize this beach. This is the beach where they're doing squats and like working out. Muscle Beach. So there's a very robust like health culture in Senegal. You drive by the beach, they're pushing car tires and exercising a lot. And so we took advantage of that, and we used that mantra of work. That was our theme for the song that we made with the young women. And this was an idea that they came up with. So there's and Speak Up Africa was a partner in helping us brainstorm around this as well. There was an agreement made at a conference a few years ago that that over 40 African countries signed up to devote 15% of their budgets to health and healthcare by 2050. 15. I believe that's the statistic. And so the song that the women wrote was about holding governments accountable to that 15%. And the theme that they wrote about was we got to work for 15%. We got to work. So this is a scene from our music video, and there's one more photo of the young women here. There's a beat-making lab in Senegal at a community center called Blaise Senghor. These women are there on a daily basis, making beats, crafting songs, and it's all because of the help of IntraHealth and some of the other partners that we met in this space. So thank you, SwitchPoint, for allowing us to blossom and grow. And yeah, I can't wait. Some of y'all need to get your network on. Pull out your business cards. Start meeting the people around here in this room, because there's an amazing group of people. An amazing group of people. So with that, I think my time's about up, but we are about to have a rockin' party during lunch. And I've got my briefcase here. We're about to take all our DJ equipment and go right outside down the hill on that little outdoor amphitheater. So are y'all ready for some music? I said, are y'all ready for some music? Who's hungry? Y'all want some food? All right, get the food, meet us outside. Thank you so much. We love you. Peace.